Okay, this is another project. I started this one because I knew it would be short of time. This is a tool that can be used, it's like a saw, it can be used for a lot of different things. You can modify it according to your desire or need. On this one I put the word health. Originally it said life. You could change the word from health to family relationship. You could put enhancing my financial status, my educational status, my employment status. You could do whatever you want to do. It's only a tool. To save time, I put the word health and put down a few ideas. So to practice with the ideas, here's what you do. You list things, A through H. I listed through G. Look at those words, and for your own life, your own current pattern, score yourself. The way you score is if you're doing really, really good, it's a 9 or a 10. If it's really poor, you suck, it's a 1. Put the number, your own score, your own grade in each of by each of the letters. Do them all. F is detoxing holistically, if you can't read that. Detoxing holistically. By the way, we're having a class on that topic the last week and the first week in September. Holistic detoxification. We'll go over that. It's a very good class. After you get the score, 1 to 10, and then put a dot on the wheel, on the spoke in the wheel that correlates with the number. For example, on A I put 5. That's where you put a 5.
What's the second word? Water and what?
Intake.
Intake.
Oh, intake.
Intake.
The water intake?
Is-
Oh.
Water intake, rest, sleep, food intake, attitude,
One.
beliefs, detoxing holistically, exercise.
1 is high or 10 is good.
1 sucks.
Sucks. Okay, so 10.
It's the center of the
Or 10.
wheel, below.
Okay, 10.
So dot, and put a dot on each spoke. You get it?
Put a dot on it,
A dot on each spoke to correlate with the number.
like exercising.
So the center is 1 or 10?
0.
0, okay, 0.
10, look at the A.
And 10.
Right under A is a 10.
So
Perfect.
if you're a 2 on everything, you just have a really small wheel.
You have a small wheel. Yes, that's right.
What does number E say? Beliefs.
Beliefs.
Belief. Oh.
How are your beliefs generally? And these are kind of vague. This is just to give you an idea. After you get the dots, put on the spokes.
Okay, let's see.
Pretend you're in the 2nd grade and connect the dots. Now you have a wheel. If they're all 2s, and your mother-in-law calls and says, how's it going? You can say, well, it's pretty smooth.
Level.
They're all 2s. If you have a 2 and an 8 and a 5 and a 7 and a 3, the answer would be, well, right now things are pretty rough. And imagine you pull on a hand cart with that as your wheel. Okay?
So what's H?
Whatever you want it to be.
Oh, okay.
It's for you to. Now, I did one of these on my family with my children, enhancing my family. I have 8 kids, so it was easy. I had Evelyn, Deborah, Adam, Aaron, Denise. I give them all a number. Letter A got a 3. I practice on her.
That's not me, I'm not A.
E,
You.
they get a good grade. So what you do, you're using this tool as a starting point with the spokes. The next thing you do, you pick the bottom 2 numbers, the lowest score on your list. Circle the lowest 2. And the next column says plan of action. The plan of action is to do something to change the pattern, to improve the number, and to make it easy. For example, if B were a 2, we'll go out on spoke 2B, we'll make a new circle. So B gets its own circle. So with number 1 child, number 1 child got her own circle. So went out on that circle and listen. And you don't have to have 8, you can have 5, whatever you have. I listed the things that I could do to improve my relationship with her. Number 1, pray for her every day. That's on my list. Number 2, call frequently. How you doing? Talk from the heart. Not, oh, how's the weather? I can get that off the phone. I don't need to ask her, okay? So, on down. So, my relationship today with our first child is better than it has been. Both ways. Me with her, her with me. Now with number 5, it was 8. I'm living long. It's working pretty good.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I can improve it, but I don't have enough energy to work on everything all the time. So now I've taught you 2 different patterns. On this pattern, we pick the easy. On this worksheet, we pick the one that needs the most attention. Does that make sense? So when I examine people, like yesterday, I examined a lovely 82-year-old woman who has many holes in her bucket. And the bucket level is down way below half. And when I did a Ragland's test, it indicated that she's going downhill. She said, so it's really important for us to plug up some holes, some big holes. And at the same time, work on some small holes. Does that make sense? Now, why did we have this discussion? We had this discussion today, and I gave you these 2 tools because we all of us have patterns that could be improved. These tools help to enhance the pattern, to move you to a new plateau. And as you say in your affirmation, I'm getting better and better every day in every way. If you're using that affirmation, that's a choice. God gave us all the ability to choose. We choose with a conscious mind. And when we choose with a conscious mind a pattern, and we can convince the subconscious mind, we can improve. Because most of the things you do in life, you do automatically. You do it out of habit. A lot of people talk with their mouth. They say they talk with their mouth and they vote with their feet. You can tell by where they go and what they do, what they really believe, in spite of what they say. I'm not talking about Washington, D.C., I'm talking about you and I. Okay? We know what they do. Oh, I got elected, please, sweet, I can do whatever I want. Okay, any comments or questions about what we just did? Have any of you done this before? I know some of you have been to the class and learned it. Some of you have been to the class and learned it.
I know, I haven't put it into action, but I'm gonna today.
I'm gonna, good. I'm gonna, that's gonna be a lot of,
That's where I F, that's number one F for me,
good.
is I learn it, but putting it into action is a real struggle sometimes.
So on the headstone, it's gonna say, was gonna.
That's right, I mean, great intentions, can't follow through.
The good news is we get judged according to our intentions.
Yeah.
Then they'll put actions. They'll say, oh, you missed. Okay. I used this test way back in 2019, so that's why the number. True, false. The uses of, would someone like to read this? Anybody?
Okay.
Okay.
Kathy,
The use of the stress release worksheet can be an effective counter-stress therapy, even if used only once every few months.
True. I recommend you keep it around. You look at it.
Which is the best area to focus on? A, mental, emotional, spiritual. B, structure. C, chemical. D, the area of the least stressful issue.
D.
D.
Correct.
It is of great importance to acknowledge specifically what is being done presently to add life, health, and energy.
That's where you do box number one. That's true. And if you listen to the conference talk, you'll hear the brethren say, focus on the things you've had in the past that were good experiences. The things you've done and are doing that were good. Stay focused on that,
On the positive.
not the negative.
Using the affirmation, I am getting better and better every day in every way, will attract me to learn more of what I should do, want to do, and know how to do.
True. And the reason is, and I've told you, it takes approximately 21 days of repetition with the conscious mind to convince the subconscious mind of a change. There are exceptions. Sometimes you can just make a decision, but to truthfully change, you have to reprogram the subconscious mind. It's kind of like training your spouse or your child. You can't just tell them one time. It doesn't stick. It must be told over and over. It
Then
must
you're
be
nagging.
here.
You
Well-
remind him several times it's nagging.
That's why we help each other. That's why sometimes I have moms and grandmas that bring children to me, and I can tell them the same thing that grandma's told them 300 times, and they get it because it came from somebody else. So we all can help each other. That's why we should always be in the mode of getting better. We can help each other get better. Remember, a few weeks ago, I gave you a sheet of paper that you could use with positive affirmations for your family and kids. When appropriate, use those. That strengthens you and them. But don't use them falsely. Okay?
Each of the 3 areas on the stress release workshop will constantly evolve as I engage in the process.
Evolve, yes. That's why you go back to the same sheet, and you add, you change, you learn things. You also learn more negative things. Now, let me tell you about a concept that's happening right now in the world. It happens inside of each of us. Think of the world like a teeter-totter. Right now, there's more righteousness on the world than there's ever been. But guess what?
There's more wickedness.
There's more wickedness on the world. They balance out each other. So the balance is about the same. But what's happening is people are choosing sides. There's a wider gap in the middle. That's why it's important that we constantly are pushing to get better and better. Keep leaning this way.
It is best to attack several areas of improvement simultaneously. I would say false.
False. One at a time.
To effectively set health goals for me, they should be measurable, specific, achievable, and require divine intervention to achieve.
True. And I want to stress to you, divine intervention. I recommend to you that when you set your health goals, like you fill this stuff out, and you say, I definitely want to do really good here, but I'm not sure I can do it. For me to do that, I need divine intervention. That's a good goal. And then try to live so you're worthy of the help you ask for.
If it is going to be, it is up to me, is a false, stressful, and misleading affirmation. False.
My mission president used to say, pray as if everything depends on the Lord. And the work as if everything depends on you. You're thinking?
Yeah.
You want to say something?
My mom used to say that. She told me that when I was little. When goals are written, visible, and reviewed often, they are most likely to be achieved.
True. There's been a lot of study on this very concept. If you write down your goal specific, and you can measure it, and have a time factor on it, and you review it over and over and over and over and over again, the chance of you succeeding are like 95% or higher. And when people do not write down the goals, they don't achieve them. Yale University did that study years ago of all the students that were told to write their goals. 20, 30, 40 years later, only 5% wrote them. They got them all. The rest floundered.
Gold not written is only a wish.
It's only what?
A goal not written, it's only a wish.
Sure. Thank you.
Goals should be kept private as they are confidential. I'd say false.
I say both.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Both. Some goals you need to keep totally private. Some you would benefit from support. Like I'm trying to achieve this. If you get a chance to help me. I'm been doing it my best, but if you can help me, I would appreciate it.
And just telling somebody reinforces the fact that you want to do it because you're verbalizing it out loud.
I totally agree.
Okay.
So they can go both ways.
Stress of any kind is always bad. False.
False. Even good food is a stress.
The more universal laws that are known and adhered to, the greater the joy and success in accomplishing goals.
Totally agree. It's kind of like they say in church, the more commandments you learn and apply, the greater the blessing. Okay. Any comments, questions that you'd like to share with this concept that we talked about today?
Hi, Sam.
Yes.
When I was about 14 or 15 in that area, I got a color book and tore out pages of things that I wanted to do in my life. Like
Yeah.
one was a teacher, one was a mother, and all that. And by the time I was 25, I had reached all of those, and I still have the book. I reached all of those goals.
Sweet. Did you make a new book?
I added some to it, but then I thought, well, I have to live these goals now. So, motherhood and
Yeah.
being
That
a
doesn't go
teacher.
away,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I made small goals in those, but it's true when you put it down on paper and have it and review it, it comes to fruition. It comes.
Thank you for sharing that. You attract in the universe that energy to accomplish that thing. So, another comments?
Years ago, I used to write ESPN, exercise, scripture, prayer, nutrition. And I would put those letters each day on the calendar, what I accomplished. And then I could see that week what I did and what I didn't do.
Yep.
Right now it's more simplified. X for exercise for me in blue, X for exercise for my husband in red. And so, because I'm trying to lift him up without nagging, he could see what he's done on the calendar. So there's little things
Great.
like that.
Thank you.
What was the P?
Prayer.
So, when I've done this in the past, people would have like a 7, 8, or 9 on one spoke or two. We usually have 1, 2, or 3 on another spoke. So their life is out of balance. Like very successful people in different areas of their life have another area that's very, very weak. And you mentioned it. What if there are 2 all the way around? I had a family like that, husband and wife. They had, their circle was less than 4, all of them. They had never left Colorado Springs. They had 2 kids, grown kids. They were great people. They were active in their church. They were trying to do the best they could. They invited us to their home one night for a dinner. The home was right 1 block from the big hospital. They did all the cooking, they did all the heating on wood stove. They had 1 cold running water at the tap in the house. They're very humble, simple people, and they're happy. Okay. I had other families that taught that were retired generals in the Air Force, and their life was out of balance, way out of balance. So part of the value of doing this is to try to become not a big wheel, but a smooth wheel. Smooth. That's what life is, smooth, balanced, even. Okay? Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your comments and questions.